Hey, welcome to the known team event. This time, I want to approach like the the known rebrand and everything. Um, so I'm invited to this known event, like the art team who worked into the known rebrand. And so let's start by saying hi to Mr. Shackle.
Hi, everybody.
Spin the
Hey
move,
guys, cheers.
Davide,
Hi guys.
and Vale Mostro. So, how was the rebrand rush?
Hmm. I think
Painful.
Yeah,
it was pretty exciting because we had to change a lot of stuff on the go while keeping our fundamentals and our vision because the vision is still the same and our lore as well. But we had to focus on some new challenge in a rush. So we had like to do a lot of brainstorming and visual R&D to come up with some new things that were like working well in unison with the new direction for the brand, the marketing, etc. So we had to focus like on new fonts, logo, visuals in general, like art. So we had to find like source of inspiration and a whole direction that didn't alter completely what we were doing before, but it spiced it up a little bit. It gave a new direction a little bit.
I remember like because like I remember like as in the management like this moment because it was like okay, like all of the teams like we are working into like the new narrative, and I think that everyone should know that actually like non like the idea it was from a conversation from me and Vale Mostro in the end, like in 10 minutes. It was fun because like um we talking about like uh nation and these kind of things, and I just updated Vale Mostro in this, and she was like upset, like saying, "Oh, we are going against the nations, and you want to call this a nation?"
I don't talk like that.
No, I mean it's. And so like there was the discussion, and she was up with like known, and I thought was like perfect in general. And so this is where like the known R&D started, because like I remember that days like we had this new narrative which is more precise to what we are and what we do, and it doesn't match with the operating system narrative and brand and so on. And so it was like, okay, and now so do you want to, I don't know, to add something about these days or so?
Well, it were pretty frantic days. As I said, I think it was pretty exciting because we had to come up with a lot of new ideas, and we worked a lot, like the art team with Ale together, trying to find visual solution for what we wanted to communicate and to convey. So that was the main challenge, and it was a funny challenge because when R&D is involved and you have a lot of brainstorming, try a lot of solutions in a short span of time, it can be stressing but very funny as well, because it's like you have the chance to unleash a lot of ideas and creative suggestions that before were not completely in line, and that we developed during the time working here. And now we had like an occasion to start completely from scratch on some stuff at least. And so yeah, it was definitely.
Okay. I think you lost the connection. But by the way, like also like for people who follow us, I think that also like this is a discussion, like it is not only like into the art team, but in general. But like also like the rebrand is like part of the like simplification about the complexity we created before in general. So for example, like with the Ethereum OS like brand, we created like this kind of world with different conception of characters and stories, which were very complex, I think, for people. And now, for example, like the new direction is more into having, these specific characters that reflect like, people on Ethereum. Like, for example, the Chad, which is the Doge, the Penguins, which are the Degens, and so on. So how do you feel like into this change, like redesign? What's your point of view?
For me, it was very exciting. Also, the introduction of the meme, like Pepe, and lots of things from this world. Also mixing with 90s aesthetic, like retro video games, and was very funny, I think.
Oh yeah. I think that this like is something that people still figuring out, because it's just into the NONlabs page for now, and we are like starting to push different things. So let's talk about like the new style of drawings, if you want to add something. The non-art team is very shy. That's for sure.
Yeah, guys. Okay, I can start, guys, if you want.
Okay.
I don't know otherwise. Yeah, the new style for drawing was a challenge, especially in the beginning, because the idea was like to draw inspiration from the 90s aesthetic, also from some anime animation in the 90s, which we are all big fans, and also the old 90s video game visuals as well. So a bit of a goofy and funny style, and with a lot of character and charisma. And so we had to do, as I said, a lot of R&D and confront each other, try to find a way to balance this all. Because when you're in a team with different artists, the first challenge is to find a way where every artist can give its best and show his value, but at the same time you got to keep the visuals consistent, because we are a brand, we're working for a project, so we need consistency, but at the same time consistency shouldn't kill unicity. So this style, I think, allowed us to push more in this direction, to find a sweet spot between these two things, consistency and authenticity, because it's a style that can be very elaborate, but his fundamentals are rough in the lines. We don't need everything to be super precise. We have more time to play with the concepts and with ideas than to focus only on the skill and technique level. And this allowed us a lot of freedom, because if we have to do a character, for example, with the style we used before, we had to focus not half, but like just random number, a good 30% of time, a good chunk of time in just nailing the character anatomy, the pose and stuff. With this style, and since it's also a bit we're working together, so we're getting accustomed to each style in the team. This allowed us to focus more on design, as I said, and ideas, and less on just the drawing itself. And we also loved the fact that the 90s aesthetic, especially in anime and animation, it's very warm, very human-made. And since we work with a lot of tech and mathematics, and we have like a lot of cold concepts in some way, visually speaking, of course, this allowed us to play with like the warm human touch feeling you get with that kind of styles, and to illustrate very technical concept, or not only technical concept, even just marketing and brand, but to mix these two things. So it was a challenge, and a very rewarding challenge, at least for me, and very exciting, because you know, every time you change style and you have to find some new to reach some new objective as an art team, it's a new occasion also to reinvent yourself as an artist, and to try new techniques, new approach, a new way to work with the team and with Ale. So this was, in my opinion, a very funny time. It was a rush, but it was a good rush, because sometimes it's you know, in the critical moments that you have that the creativity really can thrive. This is my opinion.
Also, like very important like steps after the non. I think it was this switch between designing and drawing like more like as a brand, to design and drawing more also like with a different marketing perspective and different, you know, targets and stuff. So how do you feel like this change we made also, and how do you think like it will evolve into?
One of the biggest change for me is the introduction of the purple dot also in the logo. That means a more emoji style and a more marketing oriented way to put the whole brand. And I think it fits more the new vision, and also the new shareable of the project.
Yeah, I agree, because actually the logo, I'm a big fan of the logo, because I think it's very simple, it's a bit pixelated, it matches perfectly with the overall aesthetic of the project now, also with the fonts. And it's fun, it's warm. I like that you can use an emoji. It's easy to represent. It's easy to convey, even if you're using in a meme or like just a token or whatever. It's very unique and distinctive, which what a logo should be, but without trying too hard. It's a logo that doesn't take itself too seriously. It's very fresh, in my opinion, and this is one of the biggest reasons for that's why I'm a fan of this.
Simple and fresh.
Yeah, exactly, and easy to remember, to convey, and actually it's a good logo for a company like us and for our kind of project. Start simple, then you have a whole world to explore. But the logo is the first thing usually. It's the starting point, visually at least.
Yeah.
And since that's technically exactly a point, because that's exactly a dot, I think it works nicely. I love it.
Also for the token logo, we talk about it a lot, and
Yeah.
it was funny to end up with a simple dot, purple dot, pixelated
Yes.
purple dot.
And I like that we took a little bit of a risk on this because usually, token logos, they follow some kind of pattern. And so we took a little bit of risk trying to go this direction, and it's paying off because very well, and it's been very well received. We gambled on the right horse for this.
I agree.
And Vale, Dave, you want to add something about the logo or the research? Because you were involved the same as me and Carlo.
Yes, we made together, and yeah, for me it was fun also to work during the meeting, sharing my screen, and maybe someone of you was the prolong of my brain was showing and listening to you. But at the end, we made.
Okay. For me, the new style is punk. The purple dot is punk. We are punk. Illustration, the themes, and our vision are revolutionary. Um, the purple dot can be inserted anyway. We am to have a lot of impact, but we also wink at the 19 aesthetic drawing. It's always more fun for us. The challenges are always new and cool. The leaders of the teams and are always punk and very innovative, and we like it. Our team is crazy, and we like it. we
Yeah,
will.
I think you touched an interesting point because it's true that the logo, it's very easy to be inserted in many different elements because it fits in illustrations, handmade illustrations. It fits in, of course, in websites, in interfaces, in memes. It fits very well, pretty everything, pretty everywhere. So yeah, I think you touched the right point.
So, um, um, we had this rebrand. So, and we had like worked like a lot to switch also for like our old like way to use our contents and things to this like more simplified version. So like not in terms of the logo, but that's in terms also like to the lore, for example. Like I think that like what do you think it will be like the so we started by this, and it's kind of like 4 months, 5 months or something that we switched like pretty much everything very quickly. And I think like I don't know how much companies are able to do a very fast and high quality rebranding so much few time. This is why like I think like you worked very perfectly in this at a specific time, which was fantastic. And um And for example, now we have this, like we have also like updated, for example, the way we do things in general. So, like for example, what was your reaction in the first place when we decided this brand switch, and you had to, like thinking about this, creating it, and work on it? So how was like your reaction?
Just a little bit of panic.
Healthy
Because
panic.
a healthy panic, yes. Because we do a lot of work for the first rebrand, and then suddenly everything changed. So we have to put a new vision on the same logo. I don't know how to tell it. Was quite crazy. But in the end, I think it's a good result.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people don't know that we had two rebrands actually, because we had like the main rebrand, which was Non, and then we have like a soft rebrand, which was okay. People like to share this purple thing, so the logo is cool. The idea of the name is very cool. It's very like something that can be expanded anyway. But okay, we need to introduce this purple emoji everywhere. So that was the second rebrand of the rebrand. Yeah, remember these days.
Oof.
Yes, was
Big
the main problem. How to introduce this dot inside the logo without change it too much. And I think everything goes well.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
I think
oh, sorry.
No, please, Alan, go on.
No.
Okay. No, I was just saying that, yeah, I agree with Carlo. And this thing, looking at it now, I think it helped on also other levels, like both the software rebrand and the proper rebrand. It helped us because we had the tasks were like less just, okay, this is your task, you have to draw, but we had like to coordinate much more. So even as a team, we developed a nice pipeline and workflow, and we improved definitely our feedback and communication skills on the work. And we worked a lot with Ale as well, because he had to do a lot of decision making. And this was also good for us because if you have to imagine a lot of things and work on a rebrand and like unleash your creativity, and if there is somebody else that has like a vision, like the original vision, and confronts with you on this idea on a daily basis, you feel encouraged even to experiment more, because it's not just an art thing. It was a company thing. It was a proper teamwork. And so this helped us also on the organization, not only of the pipeline, but even of the work itself between us, the feedbacks, etc., etc. So I think the rebrand proved also, we didn't speak enough about this between us. But I'm thinking now that this rebrand has been a good occasion we took to improve a lot on the organization of the work as well. And it's proving very useful. At least this is my cup of tea about this. Back to you, Ale.
Yeah, it look like. Yeah, so like for example, like the whole like narrative, which you were always been very into it, was a very like long journey. Like for example, I remember like since when Vale started to work with us with the Beetle at the time, DFL Hub with the Ghost. Then we introduced like this like idea of lore and the world. Like for example, like I remember when we had also the first items version, and then like also like Unify with like, do you remember like the first Unify like maps like for the release, which was like very cool. I remember, and these were like for example the first what is now the Chad pumps up, like the musculars like Doge, and a lot of the idea comes from there. Then there was like this world map with the idea of Ethereum OS, like the operating system with different things. Also, like someone forgot, for example, like where is my dragon? Also, which was part of the story.
Yeah.
It will came back actually at some point. Obviously, yeah, I can share this information. It's not a big deal. Like for example, we will get back this with the launch of the Bazaar, for example, and also like we build this lore, and then we destroy this lore and simplify it. Actually, yeah, I think it was interesting, like to have this specific, character that now are becoming like something that can be very powerful, like for the future of the brand and narrative. And I strongly believe that what we invented is very like unique in some ways, even if like it's follow like the industry people, because like something that a lot of people don't know is that like we want to associate like our brand. So even if it was 3 years at the time, now Non, and so on, to like tell the story, which is totally untold, of people on Ethereum. And so like tell the story where you have degens, when you have chads, when you have traders, merchants, when you have funders. So for example, like I remember when we invented like the funders, so the corruptible people, which are the Julians, because also like into the community lore there was this guy called Julian. I think Julian the King or something, probably from Madagascar. Was arrived from Madagascar or something. It was like the first founder, like in the early days, and then people start to call Julius every time someone fud, and so we take this into the lore, and I think it's pretty much it's pretty much very like what the Ethereum is, what the industry is like this. So it's like the Julian probably is the figure, like the image that I like the most, because it explains like the problem of the industry in general. So that these are like the corruptible part of this, which are people, and they are like the destroyer of everything. They're the destroyer of the narrative. They're the destroyer of like protocols and so on and so forth. So I think that this, for example, is it's very like, and I want to like, now we are into this phase about like putting everything good for marketing and for this kind of things. But I think that in the future, like after the NONnation release, it will be very cool to go deep and inventing like a lot of stories and stuff about this, because like we create like I think a huge asset where we can really work on this very, very hard, I think.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, also because as you said, the Ethereum, the people on Ethereum and the events on Ethereum as well, they offer you like a never-ending stream of ideas to put on visuals and to aspects that is interesting to represent. Also visually with lore, stories, and characters. Even because it's a way of describe in a fast and very approachable way, method. What's happening, even to outsiders, because I had like a lot of people that was interested about some characters in the lore, and they asked me what they were representing, and I explained, and it was it's a fun thing and interesting as well, because it's a ever shifting world. This one we are in on Ethereum, so it's always a good and a catchy way to represent this, in my opinion. And
So
I don't know if you guys
and so I think that like it was like a cool discussion. Probably we'll have more in the future with these team events, like going deep into like some specific like topics. And I think that tomorrow there will be the MAA, same time as usual, like into our channels. And also I want to introduce, because it's like because I'm here, that by the next week the scheduling of known events will be different. And we added on the Monday a weekly scheduling tweets, and so people will be able to know what is coming into the week. Because we thought into the marketing with the marketing team that okay, so we just put the event like regularly, and people will learn. But I think having a weekly scheduling posted is easier for people to join. So I think it would be cool, like also DMA with the art team on the Twitter space tomorrow, and so see you tomorrow.
see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you
Ciao,
tomorrow.
belli.
Bye, citizens.
Bye.
Bye.
Big hug.